All right, let's dive right in. This first one comes in from Anonymous. And Anonymous says, "Hey guys, I'm writing in as Anonymous because honestly, I'm embarrassed and I know my friends listen too." Well, first off, kudos to you for having great friends that know quality trash content to watch or listen to. So,
Yes.
thanks. They say, "So I made a mistake recently." Was it listening to this show? I hooked up with my ex. We have been broken up for just under a year. Our relationship was good until it wasn't. We mutually broke up and tried to move on. I say tried because I've missed him. When we broke up, I didn't want it to happen, but it was one of those, it had to happen things. Well, we ran into each other at a mutual friend's house and ended up fucking in the bathroom. No one knows it happened except us, and now I can't get him out of my head. We talked after and agreed it shouldn't happen again, but I really want it to. I'm wondering if I should tell him that I want to give things a try again. I know we broke up for a reason, but right now it feels like with some time apart, maybe it's fixable. Thanks, guys. Liam, what do you think? Should she tell him to, get in there again?
I don't know, man. Like, I'm not the biggest supporter from my own experience, retreading old paths, I guess is the best way to put it. I just think if they're an ex for a reason. And those reasons will eventually come back. And even though it seems exciting because you're like, oh, we rekindled something that I felt was missing, I feel like you're not rekindling, you're just going back to what's comfortable. And then at that point, you know what I mean? Like you're falling back into a pattern that will eventually lead you down the same path that you were in before. And this same person or the same problems that were there previously will just come back around. Like, unless this is an ex from like a long time ago and you're like, oh, we're both completely different people now. Yeah, there's the potential for that. I could see that happening. But from my experience, anytime I tried to date again somebody that I had broken up with, and like I said, from my experience, it was typically like they were my most recent ex. Like it was like I had broken up with them. Maybe I went on a couple dates, but like nothing too serious. And then something happened again with that ex. And it just, all the problems were still there. And even if at the onset you're like, oh yeah, I remember when things were good. But yeah, that was a long fucking time ago. Things are not good anymore. And my feedback, my suggestion for anybody that is in this type of situation, take all the things you liked about your ex and look for that in a new partner. And everything that you didn't like, right? And anything you didn't like about that ex, make sure the next partner doesn't have those things. And then with the next partner, you'll learn some new things that you like, new things that you don't like. And then you're basically building your perfect partner by continuing to seek out until you find that person that has all the qualities you love, none of the qualities you hate, because even the things that annoy you about that person, you still love that it's that person that's annoying you. Like Brittany and I always talk about like that I'm an obnoxious pain in the ass, but I'm her obnoxious pain in the ass, and she loves it.
Yep.
So I find yourself a Brittany, not my Brittany, but find yourself a Brittany, and you'll never work a day in your life. I don't know. No, you'll never go a day without love. Yeah, took me a little bit, but I got there.
That sounds good.
For you, I'm trying to think, man. I know one ex that you went back to, but for the most part, you usually kept it pretty similar to the way I did, where it was kind of like, nah, I've read that book. I'd like to read a new one, but maybe your thoughts have changed in your wizened age.
Nope. As I've gotten older, I find it exactly the same. I've changed my stance on a lot of things. That's not one of them. And, maybe it's because, you mentioned one person that I got back together with, and maybe that's why. But I've seen a lot of people get back together with their exes, and it's just been a train wreck, Mine wasn't so much a train wreck. It was more that, like you mentioned, the things that were not good when we were together the first time, and then I think we were apart for like maybe 2 years, I want to say. It was a while. And then we got back together. It was all the same stuff. Like we hadn't changed enough in 2 years that it was like, oh, all these things that weren't working before now were suddenly going to work. It's not enough time. You hear these stories like, what was it? When Harry Met Sally, where they show the stories, and like there's that older couple that they got married, they got divorced, and then like 40 years later they found each other and got remarried again, and it worked, right? That's 40 years. This person, Anonymous, you're talking about a year. You didn't change that much in a year. You might have had some growth in a year for sure. I've had growth in every year, especially in the pants. But like, you know, you didn't grow enough that this relationship where it was meant to end, like you mentioned, what was your exact wording? You said you knew it had to happen. So you knew it had to happen. It wasn't going to change enough in a year that all of a sudden it didn't have to happen. I'll share a story. This relationship that I was in, it was definitely like at the time my most serious relationship. We were together for I think 2.5 years, something like that. I was for sure like, oh yeah, she's the one, you know, thought that she was going to be the one. And then she went off and wanted to cheat on me with the guy that Liam's girlfriend cheated on him with at the time. So like she literally we found out that she wanted to cheat and would have had she been given the opportunity, but Liam's girlfriend at the time got to him first.
She was faster. Yeah, she moved quicker.
Yeah. So that's the girl that I got back together with a few years later, figuring, okay, you know, she made a mistake. Things had changed. We sort of had started talking again. We rekindled things. We got back together. And not only were things really no different, like I felt at the time like, oh, things are so much better. We've changed. Like she's a little older. I'm a little older, you know, like now we've made that mistake. We missed each other. Like we knew we wanted to get back together. But the whole time she was still the same person that she was, to the point where, again, we thought we were going to get married. I thought we were going to get married. We ended up getting tattoos on our fingers, our ring fingers, his and hers tattoos. So I got hers and she got his. And she broke up with me 2 weeks after we got them.
Yeah. They hadn't even
healed. She told me, yeah, they had barely healed. And she told me that she knew when we went to get the tattoos that she was going to break up with me, but she thought it was cute, so she still wanted to get it. So this is an example of the problems that were there before, namely that she was a person of low integrity, were still there when we got back together. She went on to do some ridiculous shit afterwards as well, invaded into my life in several ways after we broke up. But she also said a lot of awful shit about me after we broke up to a lot of people that we knew that got back to me, and it fucked with my confidence. I say all of this not to be like, oh, look at me, I've had this bad experience, but just this is a perfect example of, it was 2 years apart, which is not a lot of time, but you know, when you're a little younger, it feels like a lot of time. And it was nowhere near enough time for either of us to change enough for anything to be different. And the problems that were there before were still there. So personally, I think it's fine that you had that hookup. But now you know that when you have that experience, you know, it puts him in your head, and now you're like, oh, I miss him. You know, I want to be with him again. So one, I don't think you should hook up with him again. And two, I definitely don't think you should try to get back together with him. Maybe this is the freak scenario where it's like, you know, it's the one case where it could work, but I don't think you should fight against the odds on this one. And I think you should move on, do what Liam said, find another guy that has the qualities that this guy had that you liked and doesn't have the qualities that, you know, you don't like. And you'll be better off that way. And you don't have the baggage of a past relationship that didn't work out, that served its time and it is now gone. So, yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah, they're an ex for a reason, for multiple reasons.
Yeah, exactly. And cool. Again, you know, maybe the hookup was, I'll share this thing. I'm not big on, I'm a dirty, dirty atheist. And I'm really not big on a lot of like metaphysical stuff. I don't really believe in fate, which is funny because there's a lot of things in my life that I could attribute to fate, that are absolutely world altering, life changing things that I just think, that I just think happened. And it's great that they happen. And it's really romantic and fun to be able to be like, it was fate. Liam and I were destined to meet and become best friends. Like, of all the people in the world, it's so clear the two of us are meant to be best friends. We do everything together and never get sick of each other, never fight, you know, like there's so many different things in life that are easy to attribute to fate, but I'm just not a big believer in fate. So anyway, I forgot why I was talking about that.
Oh, you were talking about so you were talking about not believing in fate, so like the metaphysical side of things, like people thinking like, oh, we met back up for a reason, or like this thing happened for a reason. So you could think about like with an ex, like, oh, we hooked up because we're supposed to be together. Like we manifested being Yep. I got you, bro.
Yeah, so
I got you.
Thank you. The reason I bring that up is because I do believe that for whatever reason, I believe that like if you are looking at life, I don't want to say in the right way, but a healthy thing for me, at least, let's go with what I've done. A healthy thing for me has been to look at people and experiences as what I needed and what they needed at the time. So like when people are like, oh, it was a failed relationship because it ended badly or whatever. It's like, it wasn't a failed relationship. It was a relationship that served the purpose that it needed to serve in the moment. So like, I had my most recent relationship from last year. It was like, I was really sad when it ended. It was, you know, it sucked when it ended. And there were a lot of things that hurt a lot when it ended. But I know what purpose that relationship served in my life, and I know what purpose it served in her life. So what I'm saying to you is that, Anonymous, I think that maybe this served the purpose of, one, maybe helping you get over him. Like, you had that experience and I know you're missing him and stuff now, but maybe you can look at it objectively and be like, cool, we had sex, we had fun in a bathroom, like there was that hot, heavy moment, but also all this time that I've spent kind of thinking of him on and off, I can now be like, we had that experience, he's not for me. And hopefully that was getting a need met and allowing you to move on. Hopefully. Yeah.
Agreed. I like that.
Cool. Well, I hope that helps you, and good luck with your next dude. Trust me, there's plenty of dudes out there that will fuck you in the bathroom. So, you know, you can find them.
Tim is one of them.
Depends where. I'm very particular about which bathrooms I'll fuck in.
Taco Bell bathrooms, yes. McDonald's bathrooms, no.
Can't say I've ever fucked in a Taco Bell. Have you fucked in a Taco Bell bathroom?
No, God, no.
No, that sounds like a terrible idea.
No, I don't think ever in public restrooms. No.
I think the most interesting, I don't want to say interesting, but like kind of the funniest place that I've ever fucked was on our tour bus while my at the time girlfriend's ex-boyfriend was sleeping in the bunk, like, you know, right next to us. Not next to us in the same bunk, but, you know, on the
Close
same bus.
by.
I think that's, yeah. Hey, so that was a clip from the Love Gods, but most importantly, before you go and like watch a million other clips or like, you know, go masturbate with a fish, I have no idea what I'm talking about, you should do us a favor. Click subscribe below right there. Go down there, click it. If you have a mouse, tap it. Use your genitalia if you want to. It's your computer or phone. We don't care. You know?
Yeah, if you're on your
but click that, click the like button,
do that.
and leave us a comment and let us know your opinion on the caller, because we're assholes and we could have been wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think we're wrong, let us know in the comments below, and you know, that way we don't have to come after you.
I like
if you know
that.
what I mean.